Hey, what's up, good people? My name is Lawrence, and welcome back to Mono to Atmos. And today is a very exciting day because we are looking at a completely different set of microphones. And today's microphone setup, what we are looking at are the dynamic microphones, but not just dynamic microphones. We'll also look at condenser microphones. We'll look at one. We'll review one. But ideally, here we are going to be talking about handheld microphones. Now, handheld microphones are just a breed on their own, okay, because of how we handle them, and they're actually built to be handheld. They're built to be rugged, and they're built to go very close to the sound source. So let's just quickly start with what a dynamic microphone is and what a condenser microphone is, because these are two different kinds of microphones, because they use different kinds of science behind them. For instance, the dynamic microphone uses it uses induction, so magnetic induction to generate sound or to create sound signals, while the condenser microphone uses capacitance, which is a variation in electrical charge to create or to convert a mechanical energy to sound. Why do people want to get actually handheld microphones? And I'm sure when it comes to handheld microphones, most of us might be familiar with them because in most of our churches, we see them in concerts, we see them with artists when they're singing and they have a microphone at hand. So there are things that we need to be familiar with, and for that reason, this might be something that is very easy for people to understand, especially content creators, podcasters, and even churchgoers. If you're a musician and you're looking to get a dynamic microphone, a handheld dynamic microphone, or a condenser microphone, you are welcome in this space because I know you will not lose something good. So let's quickly look at maybe some of the pros and cons of dynamic microphones. The first thing is they are very ruggedly built, because they're handheld. Let me just quickly grab one. Because they are handheld microphones, they are well built, they are built like a tank. You can drop this and it might not really get damaged, and then they go very close to the sound source, okay? They're able to handle what we call high SPL, which is dynamic microphones are able to handle high sound pressure levels before they start distorting, and that is because of the fact that they use magnetic induction to create sound, okay? And also they are not as sensitive. The few maybe drawbacks of a handheld dynamic microphone would be something like they're not as sensitive as their condenser counterparts. Okay, so for instance, a microphone like this is the AKG D7. It might be able to pick from 50 hertz all the way to 15 kilohertz. Just to put it in perspective, the human ear can hear between 20 hertz and 20 kilohertz. Okay, and you lose some of those high frequencies with time. 20 hertz is the lower side, the rumbles, the low, the bass. 20 kilohertz is the high sizzles, the shimmers, the SS. Those are the high frequency sounds that vibrate very fast, up to 20,000 kilohertz. So what this tells you is dynamic microphones are not able to pick the entire frequency spectrum that the human ear is able to perceive. So just know that. But the condenser counterparts, because they're using a different way of capturing sound, they are able to capture the entire 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz frequency spectrum, and that is why you would have different kinds of handheld microphones, some being condensers and others being dynamic. And who is this dynamic microphone for? So dynamic microphones are basically for anyone who wants to create content and not mind having the microphone in the shot. For instance, if you're doing a podcast and you don't mind your microphone being in the shot, you could always get this because they are good at rejecting sound. Like they can give you very good sound, very clean vocal sounds, or very clean sounds where it's a bit noisy. So they are actually preferred and loved by what we call ENG, electronic news gathering. If you were to see a reporter out there reporting for the news, you might see them with this kind of microphone. And one of the reasons is because it's able to handle well in noisy environments. The other thing is that they are very resistant to droppings. They are also very durable. The other thing about these microphones is that is the fact that they can withstand a variety of temperatures. So you can go with them to the coast where it's very humid, and they will still survive. So these are very versatile, practical microphones, and as long as you don't mind them being in the shot, it's very fine. So this will just bring us to how do you choose again. Like I mentioned when I was talking about the shotgun microphones, it comes down to your budget. Please don't run for the most expensive dynamic microphone thinking that that is what will give you the best quality. We are going to compare some of the microphones that I have here. Some are very cheap, some are very slightly expensive, and you can also compare them to what I have here. This is a $300 pencil condenser microphone, and you'll be able to now compare and see how they fit in. I think the most expensive microphone I have is this one, the AKG D5, which should be around $100 to about $150. Okay, so this is the most expensive, and then followed by a few here that we'll be able to talk about and even just listen to their sound. The other thing maybe I want to say is if you're an artist and you want something to capture your rough vocals before you go to the studio, you can always get this. Or if you're a pastor and you want to be preaching and you're preaching from your house, this is a good microphone to get. Just remember that there's a lot of knockoffs. Okay. In fact, AKG, I've seen so many knockoffs in Nairobi. If you care about quality, and Africa, we really need to start thinking, taking quality seriously, because I've had very high esteemed persons in the entertainment industry rubbish quality. And allow me to say this. I just tolerate bad quality, but it's not like I would always pursue bad quality. I grew up watching Western movies. I grew up watching good quality. And for that reason, I'm constantly drawn to something that is of good quality. So when you buy the knockoffs, you can be sure that you won't get the sound that comes from the original microphones. So let's just quickly start maybe reviewing the sound just to see what they sound like. So my first microphone to review is a Behringer. Okay, this is a very good microphone, especially for preachers. If you preach, if you do podcasts, it's a very good microphone. And let me just bring it close so that you can hear what it sounds like. So this is the Behringer XM8500. Ultra Voice. It's a very nice microphone. I think I remember watching someone reviewing it online, and I really loved what it sounded like. It sounded very smooth to me, and I was like, "Oh, this is a microphone that I think I would want to add to my arsenal." And I wanted to use them for podcasting, and always just to have something as a backup whenever I need a good dynamic microphone that I could use. You can tell what it sounds like when it's this distance, so it's about this far, and when I bring it in, there's something we call the proximity effect. You can tell the proximity effect when I bring it in closer. And this is what it sounds like on my voice. And this is, I think, about, is it a $35 microphone? Yeah, right about there. I think it's about $35. If it goes too high, it should be about $50. And this is the kind of quality that you're going to get from this kind of microphone. One thing about dynamic microphones is they're good at rejecting sound that is coming from the back, especially the back or the sides. They are very good because some of these microphones are actually cardioid. The pickup pattern is what we call the cardioid. So it only picks sound that comes from the front and rejects things that come from the back. So they are very good for choir, if you're doing choir in church, or even if you're doing if you're having the praise and worship, because they are very good at rejecting feedback, and you can tell the level of clarity. If you love this, and you want to get such a microphone, please go ahead. Let's just go and try another microphone. So just to give you a feel of the difference between that microphone and this is just to help cleanse your palate so that you can tell what the microphone sounds like vis-a-vis what this one sounds like. So we are going to try the AKG D5 dynamic microphone. Hey, what's up, good people? My name is Lawrence, and this is the AKG D5. It's a dynamic microphone. It's one of my favorite. I remember I had said earlier, if you've watched some of my earlier videos, that I love AKG because my very first microphone was a Perception 200 AKG, one of those blue ones, and that was about 2005 there, right about when I got my first condenser microphone, and I loved it. And since then, I've always loved products from AKG, and you can tell how this sounds like. I don't know if you love it. I don't know if you don't like it. This is what it sounds like when I bring it closer. It's very good also with rejection. Let's just quickly try to see how it rejects sounds from the side. So now I'm talking to the side of this microphone, and I don't know what you think about it. It's able to reject sounds, but when I bring it back, it's able to come back clean and crisp. So you can always use this outside. In fact, when we are doing content outside and we need a handheld microphone, it's my to-go-to microphone because it's very ruggedly built. Okay, it has this frequency response that is very crisp, very clear, and it's a microphone that I will always count on. I always count on when I need to do content where we don't mind the microphone being in the shot. So let's quickly try a different microphone. And just for a quick palate cleansing, this is how my pencil condenser microphone sounds. Let me just quickly get a different microphone. So this is the Marquee Element, okay? The EM89D. I also love this microphone, only that, to be very honest, I don't like how it handles. So this is a very good microphone that you can use on a stand. I would not recommend that you handle this microphone a lot. Let me just quickly make you hear what handling sounds like on this microphone. I don't know if you can hear that. But when it comes to clarity, this is a very clear microphone. If you can listen to me, it's a microphone that I think also sounds really well with my voice. I really love this microphone, and I got it, I think, for like $50. But it's a very decent microphone, so it's something that you might want to consider. But this also has a slightly different pickup pattern. It's not a cardioid pickup pattern. This is a hypercardioid, so the rejection on the sides needs to be quite phenomenal. You know, that it should have very good side rejection. So the side rejection needs to be very good. It prefers to pick up sounds that are right in front of it, and also has a bit of a reach, so I can put it a bit far away and you can still tell maybe that it picks my voice very well. So let's go to another voice. If you want to consider the Marquee Element 89, you know, the EM89D, please, this is something that might fit you. This is very good for podcasters. It's also very good for singers if you also play loud instruments, because remember, the dynamic microphones are very good with picking up high SPL. So things like snares, drums, saxophones, trumpets, all the brass instruments, you can pretty much capture them using this kind of microphone because of how they're able to pick loud sound signals. Let's try another microphone right here. One, two, three. This is another one of my favorite microphones. This is the Samsung Q2U. This is a microphone that is used by so many people on their podcasting stages. I know before there was an eruption of all these dynamic microphones coming up, Samsung Q2U was the to-go-to microphone when people could not afford the expensive dynamic microphones. So I could see this on so many podcasters' boom stands, you know, and I thought maybe I needed to get this. But this is what it sounds like. The idea here is to give you a feel of what some of these microphones sound like, okay? And especially when you get the original ones, they should be able to give you clean, crisp dialogue, or clean, crisp signals that you're trying to capture with them, be it guitars, be it just an instrument, be it that you're doing a cappellas, or you're in church, or you're preaching. This is what this microphone sounds like, and I would want to just go around it to tell how it rejects. So this is how it rejects my voice on the side, and let me come to the other side. This is how it rejects sound from the other side. So this is a microphone that you can use outside. You know, you can use it to do electronic news gathering. You can use it as a podcasting mic in an open space where there's a lot of noise. As long as you're able to just give it a foam, you will be good to go, and I'm sure that the quality will not suffer. So let me see. Today I decided also want to try out a kick drum so that we see how it compares to the rest of the microphones. So let's just quickly do a clean pellet cleansing and then go to the next microphone. So now this is what my condenser microphone sounds like. The pencil condenser microphone on the boom arm, and let's try the kick drum really fast. So this is an Audio Technica kick drum. Hey, what's up, good people? So this is a kick drum. This is what it sounds like. I don't know what you think about it, but I hope it's something that is good. But this is also to just tell you that sometimes you don't need to worry so much about the microphone. At least if you get good quality, rather you get an original microphone, you'll always be safe. The only problem comes in when you start buying knockoffs. That's where quality instantly diminishes. I remember growing up and people used to test microphone by their weight. I think that was very funny. When I was getting into the music space and the sound space, I used to have producers come and weigh my microphone to tell me whether it's good or bad. And that was very weird. I was not understanding the logic behind that. Maybe you're out there and you've also seen people who are trying to do that. They take a microphone in their hand and then they tell you, because it's heavy, it's a good microphone. It's a really poor way of testing microphones. I would say if you really want to test a microphone, record something with it, listen to it, and then tell if it really works with your voice. So this is a kick drum, an Audio Technica kick tomb drum, and this is what it sounds like. I don't know if you like it, I don't know if you hate it, but maybe when you need to buy a microphone, sometimes you might just want to listen to one, okay? So that you know how well it works with your voice. Let's try I think the last microphone that I have on here, which would be a podcasting microphone. So this is the Zoom ZDM podcast microphone. And also for people who are in radio, usually use this style of microphone. Okay, and it comes with a foam that helps to kill plosives and also protect it from saliva and dust. And it's a very decent microphone if you want to do podcasts and you're thinking of getting a microphone that is not so sibilant but also can capture your voice well. This is what it sounds like. And if we go to the sides, you can tell how it's rejecting my voice. It has pretty good rejection because you see when you're doing podcasts, you're seated around a table or around a space and you don't want the one microphone to pick the sounds of the rest of the people. So this is quite a good microphone because it offers very good side rejection, okay? So if you ever think of maybe getting a podcast, this is a form factor. You can always buy what meets your budget. Let it never strain you. If you have $50, go for a microphone worth $50. If you have $100, but be guided by your budget. Do not be just guided by what you see out there. And the best way to know what microphone to go for is to actually go to a shop and test it. Record something, go back, listen to it, and then you'll be able to know what microphone you actually need to buy. And I think this is the last of my dynamic microphones, and maybe I just want to talk about some of the accessories that you need. For a dynamic microphone, maybe you need the foam, the windshield or the foam, okay? You might need this. You might need something like a stand. So you will need a stand. This is a stand. This is a microphone stand that one of the microphones that can actually go into. This is a table stand, so you can just put it on the table and you continue speaking. You can always have a boom arm, something like this, and you're always good to go. The other thing I just want to point out is dynamic microphones are usually very gain hungry. They want a lot of preamp power. So make sure that as you make a decision to buy your dynamic microphones, make sure that you're also able to pair them with a recorder that is able to provide enough power or enough preamp power to power dynamic microphones. Most of them require up to maybe 50 dBA, 55 dBA, or even 60 dBA. So make sure that at least you have a preamp that is able to get up to maybe 60 dBA just to be safe anytime you're trying to get a dynamic microphone to use. Now I just want to also test a handheld condenser microphone that I have. And what is it about handheld condenser microphones? They are slightly more sensitive, so they would capture a broader frequency spectrum compared to the dynamic microphones. For instance, if the dynamic microphones capture 50 to 15 kilohertz, the condenser microphones are able to capture 20 to 20 kilohertz. So a quick example of a handheld condenser microphone is this microphone right here. Did I gain stage it? Let me just quickly gain stage it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is the Behringer. It's called what? Let me just quickly confirm. The Behringer SB78A. This is a handheld condenser microphone, and this is what it actually sounds like. So you can tell if it's something that you think you want to consider. Ideally, condenser microphones are usually used in spaces where there is a lot of sensitivity. You need quiet sounds, or you need more frequency, to capture more frequency, that's where you use condenser microphones. But I will just remind you this one thing. Condenser microphones break very easily because of how they have been created. They're very sensitive, and they also require phantom power. So because of all that, because they're very delicate, when they drop, they easily break compared to dynamic microphones. And so this is what this sounds like, and let's just quickly look at how it rejects. So you might find that this does not offer as much rejection as the other microphones, but when I come back, it's spot on and it picks my voice very well. When we go to the side again, it sort of rejects my voice, but not as much. You can still hear some of the high frequencies passing through, and when I come back, you can hear that my voice becomes full. It's a good microphone if your studio, if you, assuming you're doing a band, but you're doing band practice and you have a lead vocalist, you could always have the lead vocalist on a microphone like this, and then the backup vocalist on dynamic microphone. So these are some of the decisions that you're going to make as you choose what to get. So these are usually very sensitive, and if you want to have something that is sensitive and when you're doing your content, you can always consider handheld condenser microphones. And the other things that you might want to get for them are just foams, something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. She sells seashells at the seashores where the sun shines. Please bring pizza pronto. And this is what it sounds like, So I feel like it's a very good microphone based on how it's picking my voice. The other thing you need to practice is how to hold your microphones, okay? Please, don't cup your microphones, because the moment you start cupping your microphones, you start getting rid of some frequencies. So always learn how to hold your microphones, and the placement of your microphone is very important, because if you want clear, crisp audio, don't try to hold your microphone in fancy ways. I've seen people in church trying to hold the microphone really far away, and that is not how dynamic microphones are designed, or handheld microphones are designed. Handheld microphones are designed to be very close to your mouth, such that they're able to pick you whatever it is that you feeding it in close proximity. That is why they look the way they look, because they're meant to be so close. So yeah, learn how to use dynamic microphones, learn how to place them. And the other thing you need to understand about condenser microphones, if you're using a condenser handheld microphone, is that you'll always need phantom power. So make sure that wherever it is that you're connecting it to, you have the availability of phantom power, which is a plus 48, which you should be able to find on your mixer, your sound card, or your recorder. I think with that, we can say this brings us to the end of talking about our handheld microphones. And let me just bring this back and take this away. So yeah, we are back to my pencil condenser microphone, and this was just a showcase and also a review of some of the microphones that I have and how they sound, and maybe they will just give you also an understanding of how some of these microphones sound. And you don't always have to go for a very expensive microphone. This is a $300 microphone, and you can actually tell how they compare to the rest of these dynamic microphones, the most expensive being $150, like the XM8500 being I think $35, and the Behringer being I think $40. It's the Samsung Q2U I think right now is about $70. So they're not very expensive microphones, but you can tell that they have good quality that you can repackage and use for content, use for news gathering, and just do something that you can put out there that people can enjoy. And let me just say, this brings us to the end of today's engagement. I hope you have learned something. Until we meet again, adios.